Are you ready to unleash your full potential and love your practice and your life? Welcome to the Legal Athlete Podcast, where every week I share the science, sports psychology, and neuroscience-based strategies that elite athletes use to dominate their game so you can dominate yours. I'm Jess Sargis, your host and high-performance coach for lawyers. With over 22 years as a trial attorney and legal exec, I've been where you are. But I'm also an undefeated former MMA fighter and coach for professional combat athletes. And now I'm here to use both those skill sets to help you master high-performance techniques and strategies so you can win more, stress less, and love your practice and your life. Get ready to become a legal athlete. Green light. Let's get it. Welcome back to the Legal Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jess Sargis, and this weekly podcast is where we talk about achieving career success without sacrificing joy, purpose, or well-being. And today, I've got something really special for you. I'm going to share with you why elite trial lawyers need to train like an MMA champion for optimal performance inside the courtroom. What? That is crazy talk, right? No, my friends, it's science. So let's get into it. First, let's warm up with a little background. In my coaching and consulting practice, I've developed and used the Legal Athlete Optimal Performance Model, my holistic approach to building physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual capacity with a foundation of discipline, habits, and a growth mindset. Our focus today is physical capacity and why it's particularly crucial for trial lawyers. I'll share insights into how developing peak physical condition can elevate your resilience, energy, and effectiveness in the courtroom. We'll explore the cardiovascular, psychological, and neuroscience benefits of exercise and provide practical tips for making physical activity a daily and weekly priority. It's gotta be non-negotiable. Let's dive into that optimal performance model and why physical capacity is the foundation. This model draws on my experiences as a combat athlete, lawyer, and high-performance coach. It also integrates principles from sports psychology, specifically inspired by The Making of a Corporate Athlete by Jim Loehr and Tony Schwartz, and Abraham Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. The model that I developed is a pyramid with 4 essential capacities, each building on the one below it. The base, the foundation, is physical capacity. That's your body's energy, endurance, and strength source. Next is emotional capacity, your ability to remain calm, resilient, and optimistic. That's the emotional internal environment for your work and for your life. Then there's mental capacity. That's your focus, problem solving, acuity, and cognitive stamina. And then finally, at the top, we have spiritual capacity, which means your alignment with your core values and your sense of purpose. Overarching everything is growth mindset, your belief in your ability to adapt and grow through challenges. And it's not just a belief in it. It is a desire for it, and it is a love for growth. It is a love of the process. That's how you develop that champion mindset, and that's how you achieve those champion results. I'm going to continue to explore topics that contribute to your highest performance and capacity at each level of this model. But today is a real treat. We are going to focus on why physical capacity is foundational, especially for trial lawyers. Physical capacity isn't just a nice to have. Physical capacity is your secret weapon, and it's your energy reserves. Let's be real. Trial law is a marathon of high-stakes performance. Long hours, high stress, and intense focus demand physical endurance, resilience, and recovery, just like athletic competition. Let's not forget, your body supports your mind. Without physical strength and stamina, even the sharpest legal skills can falter. For trial lawyers, physical endurance helps sustain your focus and composure during long and emotionally grueling trials. It prevents burnout by allowing you to handle stress better and recover faster. By prioritizing physical well-being, you are investing in the resilience you need to perform at your best, not only for yourself, but also for your clients. And when you're in the kind of physical shape that lets you stay scary energized, focused, and determined throughout entire long trial days and weeks, there is absolutely nothing more intimidating to an opponent who hasn't trained and prepared as a total legal athlete the way you have. Let's dive into that mental combat aspect a bit deeper with an example from my MMA days. While competing in a weight class bound sport, weight was always a consideration, but it was never the goal. I never trained to get skinny. I trained to have the overwhelming strength and endurance to dominate my opponents. Does that sound like something a trial lawyer might like to do? Absolutely. Strength comes in bursts when you're using it against your opponents. In the cage, it might be a breathtaking, cage-rattling takedown. So much fun. But are you going to win if that feat of strength shot your last energy reserves, and now that you've got your opponent on the ground, you're wrestling like a kitten instead of a bear? In court, a quick show of strength might be a particularly devastating piece of cross-examination or irrefutable documentary evidence of a key case element. This is the kind of strength trial lawyers are used to training and preparing for trial to use. But what about endurance? Once that piece of your trial utility kit has been spent, how are you maintaining that momentum right up until you have to turn your case over to the judge or jury for deliberation? Or is opposing counsel going to look over at you at the other table and see you exhausted, low energy, and counting the moments until the trial march is over? You can have all the internal motivation in the world, but if your physical capacity is at zero, the fact is you will not be the most effective trial lawyer you can be. And that's the kind of thing that haunts the dreams of any trial lawyer or fighter. Knowing what it is you need to do and not having the energy to do it or to do it to the best of your ability. It's like a nightmare scene where the monster is coming after you and you just can't seem to run faster than wading through deep water. In sparring or in a fight, if you've spent the last of your glycogen stores in your muscles and your cardio is shot so you're gulping air, you might not be able to keep your legs and arms locked in to deliver that final squeeze of that rear naked choke to submit your opponent. You might not feel how low your arms have sunk, leaving you vulnerable to a crushing and finishing left hook to the temple. But your opponent does. And on the contrary, if you're in a fight and your opponent has just spent themselves throwing all their best stuff at you, teetering on their own edge of exhaustion, and they see you over there, looking fresh and still coming, there is nothing more demoralizing, nothing that makes you question more whether you've actually got what it takes to win. Who do you want to have that feeling, you or your opponent? Who do you think your client wants to see on their side? But let's talk about a real-life UFC champion as an even better example, Merab Dvalishvili. They call him the Machine, and it's because his cardio is so notoriously excellent that he maintains a relentless pace throughout his fights. He wears down even the strongest opponents over the course of several rounds. When I used to train and spar with him up at Longo MMA in New York, I swear it felt like fighting the Tasmanian devil. He was just everywhere and always on you with this seemingly endless ferocity and energy. His endurance is actually what has made the critical difference in numerous of his fights, including his 5-round barn burner against Sean O'Malley in September when he won the UFC Bantamweight Championship belt. He just kept on this continuous pressure without showing any signs of physical or mental fatigue. He was still having fun in that 5th round, and that made all the difference. That made him a champion. So let's bring it back to you, my lawyer friends, and why building and maintaining your physical capacity is such a game changer for an elite trial lawyer. First, let's go over the stark mental and physical health landscape in which our profession finds itself currently. As lawyers, we are almost twice as likely as the general population to struggle with things like alcohol abuse. Around 28% of lawyers report serious depression, 19% experience severe anxiety. Lawyers face elevated risks of hypertension, heart attack, and stroke, largely because of the demanding, high stress, and often sedentary lifestyle that comes with the job. Lawyers often wear these impacts on their physical health like battle scars. But here's the tough love truth. They're not battle scars, they're self-inflicted wounds. Let that sink in. You might think that you're doing all the right things, and I know you're doing your best. You're trying to do the best by your career, you're trying to do the best by your clients, you're trying to do the best by your family. But you know how you can really do the best by all of them and yourself? That's right, building and maintaining your physical capacity as a non-negotiable. The most stunningly effective way lawyers can counter all of the mental and physical detriments that our profession traditionally struggles with, it's physical movement and building physical capacity. It's about building a body that supports your mind and your ability to execute at your highest possible level. So let's break down the science. Here are just some of the most basic cardiovascular, psychological, and neuroscience benefits of physical fitness and capacity. For cardiovascular health, regular exercise strengthens your heart, reduces blood pressure, and improves circulation. For trial lawyers, this means more energy throughout the day, better stress management, and lower risks of cardiovascular disease, critical given the sedentary nature and high-stress nature of so much legal work. Research shows that even moderate physical activity reduces risks of all-cause mortality, cardiovascular disease, and mental health issues. On the psychological benefits, physical activity reduces anxiety, boosts mood, and helps combat depression. Exercise releases endorphins and serotonin, which lift your mood and lower cortisol, the stress hormone. This keeps trial lawyers who traditionally struggle with high cortisol mentally sharp and calm under pressure. On the neuroscience benefits, exercise increases neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and grow. It improves memory, attention, and executive function, skills essential for lawyers. Movement stimulates the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. This supports learning, focus, and mental resilience, all crucial for performance-driven professions like trial law. In short, regular physical activity primes your body and your mind for peak performance, making it one of the most effective tools for trial lawyers to excel. So now you've got the science. You've got the evidence, counselor. Let's get into how to make it work for you. Here are some practical ways to make movement a regular part of your routine. And overarching all of this, make a promise to yourself that movement every day is your non-negotiable. First, schedule short bursts of movement. You should aim for at least 20 to 30 minutes of exercise every day. This could be a brisk walk, it could be a short workout, or even active desk time if you're strapped for time. Try incorporating light stretching or body weight exercises every 90 minutes to stay active throughout the day. I find that using the ultradian rhythm method, where you're working in short bursts, 90 minutes at a time, and then capitalizing on the 20 minutes of downtime after that to get your movement in, tends to work best. So that's number one, schedule short bursts of movement daily. Number two, plan weekly cardio and strength sessions. Balance is your key. You want to make time for both cardiovascular and strength training exercises each week. Cardiovascular exercises like walking, jogging, biking, or swimming are going to improve your endurance and reduce stress, while strength training helps build muscle and helps with overall physical resilience. When you are strong physically, you feel strong mentally. So number two, plan weekly cardio and strength sessions. Number three, use high-intensity interval training that's HIIT, H-I-I-T, or sprint training. HIIT or sprint training can be highly effective for fitting in intense work in your busy schedule. Short bursts of intense exercise followed by brief rest periods offer you a full body workout in just 15 to 20 minutes. It's efficient and it boosts both cardiovascular and mental health benefits. And here's some more neuroscience. It's really cool. Every time you do hard things, even or especially tasks that you dislike, you're strengthening the mid-cingulate cortex, MCC. That's the brain area that helps you manage motivation, make decisions, and handle both pain and reward. It's your mental grit muscle, crucial for discipline and excellence. Physical exercise, especially high-intensity training, enhances MCC resilience by handling controlled stress, making you better at handling mental stress. That's right. Physical stress makes you better at enduring and excelling under mental stress. So that's high-intensity interval or sprint training. And a little note for my over 40s or anyone dealing with an injury, bad knee, anything like that. You don't have to do a CrossFit class to do high-intensity interval training. It can be absolutely any kind of exercise that you do at a period of high intensity followed by a period of low intensity. It can be walking. It can be hitting a heavy bag. It can be biking. It can be rowing. Any exercise that allows you to do this high intensity work without aggravating your injury and still get in those periods of high intensity and low intensity, that's going to work for you. Number 4, take advantage of non-exercise activity. That's fitting in little bits of exercise throughout the day that normally you might be more sedentary. Using stairs instead of elevators or parking further away, or take walking meetings, walk and talks. These small actions add up and contribute to physical capacity without extra time out of your day. And then finally, prioritize consistency over perfection, progress over perfection. It's very difficult to be perfect at all of these. Emergency is going to pop up, fire is going to need to be put out. You can't aim for perfection, but you can aim for consistency. Consistency is what builds resilience and keeps your energy up in the long run. Even on busy days, 10 minutes of movement is better than none. And keeping this critical promise to yourself is not only going to benefit you in your performance, in your mental outlook, in your relationships, but it's also going to benefit you in strengthening that mid-cingulate cortex, as well as stimulating that release of the brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is going to help you with your focus, your neuroplasticity, and your resilience. So finally, on resilience, physical capacity isn't a luxury for trial lawyers. It is foundational. Just as athletes build physical endurance to sustain their skills, trial lawyers need to cultivate physical capacity to maintain their mental sharpness, resilience, and longevity in a highly demanding field. Regular exercise equips you to handle the challenges of law with greater energy, focus, and calm, and to be able to go toe-to-toe with your courtroom opponent with confidence and momentum throughout the entire trial, even and especially when their energy starts to fade. It's about having the physical and mental edge to dominate and win when it's all on the line. All right, my friends, that wraps up this episode of the Legal Athlete Podcast. I'll be diving deeper into the emotional, mental, and spiritual capacities in upcoming episodes of the Legal Athlete Podcast, so be sure to subscribe and follow along. If today's discussion resonated with you, please share it with a friend or colleague who might need this reminder. Or if you're wondering how it can really work for you in your busy life, send me a message. I know we can figure this out. Until next time, legal athletes, keep crushing it, fighting the good fight, and let's keep redefining success in law together.